The film opens with the bell ringing at Bayfield University on Monday the 18th. Teresa, commonly called Tree, wakes up hungover from the night before when she was very drunk. She's in the dorm room of her schoolmate, Carter Davis. There's a missed call from her father. After asking for Tylenol, Tree asks to keep the incident a secret. When trying to leave the dorm, Ryan enters and asks if he slept with Tree, which he finds embarrassing. As she leaves the dorm, a woman approaches her and invites her to get involved in efforts to combat global warming. On her way, she sees a red car parked and a group of activists who seem to be demonstrating. A guy named Tim asks Tree why she hasn't answered all his messages. Tim wants to check Tree's phone, but she refuses because they only dated once, and it was a bad date since Tim only took her out for a sandwich. Upon arriving at the dorm, a woman greets Tree, but she ignores her. Danielle, her sorority sister, asks where she's been and hopes she used protection last night. In her room, her roommate Lori says she finally arrived. Tree asks if she did anything embarrassing last night. Lori says she danced on tables, started a fight, threw up biscuits, and even kissed Nick Sims in front of Danielle. The clock shows 9:20 a.m. She's late for class and starts getting ready while frantically searching for her books. Turning around, Lori gives her a birthday cake. Today is Tree's birthday, but her reaction is different. She blows out the candles and throws away the cake Lori made because it's high in carbohydrates. In class, Tree meets her professor, Gregory. There seems to be something between them as they exchange looks. During lunch, Tree gathers with her sorority sisters to discuss the spring dance. Becky, one of the sisters, brings lunch filled with junk food. Danielle gets angry upon seeing this because they need to maintain their bodies with healthy food. Becky leaves the meeting, but as she turns, she bumps into Carter and spills all her food. Carter intends to return Tree's left-behind belongings. Tree pulls him aside to hide the fact that they know each other and that she once slept in his room. Tree is at the campus hospital and meets Lori in the elevator. Lori works as a nurse. Before entering the elevator, Lori warns Tree that if she continues this, serious problems will occur. But we don't know what Lori means. Tree says it's none of your business. It turns out Tree meets her professor, who is also a doctor. Tree has a special relationship with this doctor. There's a knock on the door from the doctor's wife. Tree and the professor are having an affair, making the situation awkward. Gregory introduces Tree to his wife and says they were discussing class. Danielle invites Tree to a dorm party that night. Walking alone on campus while talking to her father on the phone, it turns out her father has been waiting for an hour at the restaurant to celebrate her birthday. Tree also passed by a group of men wearing school sportswear. A person wearing a baby mask looks at Tree and watches her. As Tree crossed the bridge, she saw a music box on the ground playing happy birthday music. Tree watched the music box, but behind her there was already a baby masked figure watching her. Initially, Tree thinks the person is part of the group she passed, but the person just stands still and watches Tree. Feeling strange and scared, Tree says she will call the police. Then the masked figure ran away. Tree walked back across the bridge, looking back, but suddenly the music box sounded again. The masked figure jumped out and tried to stab her. Fortunately, she dodged and ran, but unfortunately she fell, and the masked figure stabbed her. She woke up again in Carter's room, on the same day, feeling like she had experienced this before, like déjà vu. Carter said, "It seems like you've been here before," so she recognized the room. She left the dorm and started noticing her surroundings again, from the woman offering to stop global warming, the red car, a group of activists, even meeting her date, Tim, while puzzled by the situation. She asked, "What day is it?" Tim said, "Today is Monday the 18th. Then Tree left, leaving him at the dorm. She experienced the same situation again. The Asian woman greeted her until Danielle scolded her before going up to her room. Confused by the situation, she said, "I feel like I'm having déjà vu," to Danielle. Then she went to her room and just like before, she rejected the birthday cupcake from Lori, but this time she just left it, not throwing it in the trash. While with her sorority sisters, she saw the campus mascot mask that reminded her of the incident the night before. She became aware of the situation, warning Becky before Carter bumped into her. But it still happened. She was now in Gregory's room, trying to explain what happened to her, but Gregory's response was not what she expected. Came and invited her to a dorm party. She headed back to the party just like before. Her father called and she passed a group of men. When she looked back, someone was wearing that mask, but the person returned to their group. This time she avoided the bridge, reached the dorm, and was greeted by someone wearing a baby mask, which startled her and made her scream. Then she hit the person's face. It turned out to be Nick. He approached Tree, and she apologized for the previous incident. Nick seemed to charm Tree, making Danielle jealous. Nick made a condition for Tree to follow him to a room. Tree met the baby-masked figure again, but it was Nick who had disguised himself again, playing music and dancing. Tree read a message from Danielle accusing her of being involved with Nick. But unbeknownst to her, the masked figure was behind her and stabbed Nick. Tree was not spared from the masked figure's attack and was killed again. She woke up again in Carter's room, this time looking shocked and scared, and left the dorm in the state she had experienced before. When she was in the room and tried to explain to Lori what she had experienced, from having already gone through this day twice, Lori made her a birthday cake, and there was a surprise party for her tonight, also telling her that she would be killed tonight. Lori tried to calm her down and suggested she take a break and rest for the day. Tree locked herself in her room, thinking she would be safe today, but the masked figure was already in the bathroom. Tree tried to fight back, but just like before, she couldn't save herself. She woke up again, this time screaming. Carter, startled by her scream, also yelled. Tree, in a state of panic and disarray, ran from Carter's dorm room in a panic and confusion, looking bewildered. Carter tried to chase after Tree because she left her belongings behind, and Tree asked him for help. She told him about what she had experienced. Of course, Carter is confused by what Tree has told him. He suggests narrowing down the list of suspects who specifically targeted her on her birthday, meaning everyone at school is a suspect, since Danielle told everyone about the surprise party. Carter says that Tree has unlimited lives, which means she has the chance to solve who the killer is by allowing herself to be killed until she knows who it is. The first suspect is Tim, but she finds out that Tim has a weird secret and crosses him off the list of suspects. The second suspect is Stephanie, but while watching Stephanie from behind, she is attacked and loses her life again. The next suspect is Danielle, but when they fight, they are hit by a bus and die. She then does something foolish to herself by leaving the dorm room without any clothes on. At night, she tries to attack the masked figure by hiding behind a tree, but instead Becky is hit, and as usual she is attacked from behind by the masked figure. She wakes up again in Carter's room, but this time she is in pain and unable to hold back, then faints. At the hospital, she meets Gregory again. Gregory explains the medical condition of Tree, which should have been fatal with that wound caused by the events she has experienced. Suspicious of Gregory, Tree follows him, and when in his office, she finds a baby mask in his drawer. But actually the real perpetrator stabs Gregory and chases Tree to the parking lot. She tries to escape by getting in a car and driving away from death. The police stop her for speeding. She lies to the police by saying she is drunk driving so she can be in a cell and avoid the perpetrator. When handcuffed, she is put into the police car. The perpetrator driving the car crashes into the police. The police car's gas tank leaks, which the perpetrator uses to his advantage. He drops a candle into the flowing gasoline, causing the police car with her inside to explode. Tree wakes up again in the same place and tells Carter that she has been here before and has gone through this day. She points out several things she has noticed, like the sprinkler watering students, a car alarm going off, and an activist fainting. Now they are at the nearest burger place. She gets a call from her father, but just like before, she doesn't want to answer it. She tells Carter that her mother died 3 years ago, and because of that, she is not close to her father. As they talk, the TV broadcast reports about a serial killer named Joseph Toombs who likes to chase young women, and Tree is convinced he is the perpetrator. She and Carter run to the hospital and warn the hospital staff that Toombs will escape tonight, but unfortunately the police on guard are already unconscious. She takes an axe and tries to fight Toombs, but Toombs holds a gun. Tree runs from the room and tries to escape through the elevator. Carter attacks the criminal, but he hits him until he is unconscious. When he tries to shoot, the gun he is carrying locks. Tree runs and hides. She manages to disable Toombs, but realizes that if she succeeds in killing Toombs, Carter will still lose his life. So she runs upstairs and ends her own life, promising to find the criminal. She wakes up in Carter's room with more positive energy. She greets Carter warmly, and when Tim approaches her, she says he doesn't like women, and he should be free to love whoever he wants. She is also nice to Lori, apologizing for being such a bad friend all this time. She goes to Gregory's class and calls him out of the room to end their relationship. During the lunch meeting, Tree brings a tray full of junk food. When Danielle kicks Becky out of the night, Tree takes Becky's chocolate milk and pours it over Danielle's head. Carter, who comes to return Tree's jewelry, kisses him in front of all her sorority sisters, and also asks him out on a date on her birthday. Tree goes to lunch with her father, David. She says it's been hard for her to be around him since her mother's death, and expresses regret for hurting her father's feelings. They then have a warmer lunch together. She prepares herself to chase Toombs. She goes to the security guard with a knife and takes his weapon, saying that Toombs is going to escape and to go get help. She enters Toombs' room and points the gun at him while he pretends to sleep. She tries to shoot him, but the gun's safety is still on. Toombs gets up and brutally attacks Tree. She remembers there's a brief blackout and takes the opportunity to grab the gun, and this time the safety is off. Then Tree and Carter spend the night together. She eats the cupcake made by Lori. After she blows out the candles and makes a wish, once again, Tree wakes up in Carter's room on the same day, and at the same time. She becomes increasingly confused and angry, wondering how she is still experiencing this. She runs to her room and tries to escape from campus. Lori again offers her homemade birthday cake. Tree refuses, saying she has already eaten it the night before, which makes her realize that Lori's cake is poisoned. When she refuses to eat it, Lori, who is the baby-masked figure attacking her, denies it. The previous murderer was a scapegoat that Lori had arranged, and Lori still didn't want to confess and thought Tree was crazy. So Tree tells her to try the cake and says she will take it to the police for examination if Lori refuses to eat it. Lori then attacks Tree. Lori's main motive is jealousy over Gregory preferring Tree over her. They fight, and when Danielle, hearing the commotion, Tree takes the opportunity to attack Lori and stuffs the cake into her mouth. Tree grabs a hanging lamp and pushes Lori out of the room until she loses her life. Tree and Carter are at a restaurant watching the news report about the incident with Danielle doing an interview just for publicity. Carter tells Tree that what she experienced reminds him of a movie called Groundhog Day, starring Bill Murray. The next day, Tree wakes up and hears the birthday ringtone again. Carter acts as if he just woke up hungover. Tree starts to panic until Carter reveals that he pranked her, and today is Tuesday the 19th, which means she's managed to live a normal life again. The film ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.